Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. On this show, we talk about crowdfunding and everything you need in order to bring your ideas into the world. And one of the things that I've really tried to hammer home with every single episode over the years since 2015 is the fact that anyone can do this. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't even matter if you've created a product before, you can actually go to the crowd, you can get funded, and you can bring something really cool into the world. And I think today's podcast episode with a team that launched a six-figure campaign from Ukraine is an incredible example of that. Not only is this team, when it comes to their first product in terms of creating new stuff online, but also they were able to do this from a location that I think for many people would consider to be like almost a little bit off the map when it comes to that, and be able to access people in America, be able to access people in UK, Canada, etc., that are backing and buying their product for something that's beautiful, that's amazing, that's well crafted, that we'll talk about on today's podcast episode. You will discover the reason why this team, these individuals have actually said that launching a Kickstarter campaign is much easier than expected. Also, the importance of marketing and budgeting, as well as the story and how that kind of lines in with the product campaign launch. In addition, you will discover more when it comes to the behind the scenes of what went into this specific project, what works well when it comes to physical products on Kickstarter. And lastly, this is an incredible example of one of the listeners of the show who has actually come back on to share their story. So this is my mission. Again, my name is Salvador Brigman, and I've been trying to not only share with you incredible case studies as to how this works, but also bring to you high quality education, information, practical, valuable, that's going to move your life forward in this journey, if you will, of launching something new into the world. And I think that another big thing you're going to hear about on this episode is the differences between Amazon and launching something new via Kickstarter. So I've been getting a lot of questions about that, and I don't want to get too much into that, and I want to really save that for the episode. But I would say that when it comes to doing a Kickstarter campaign, this is something that's incredible for you if you want to build a brand from scratch. If you don't want to just do drop shipping and sell something crappy to a bunch of people who are going to hate it anyway and leave negative reviews. If you want to build a brand that lasts, something that you own, something that's a great foundation for a company for you to launch new products into the world. If you also want to get the funding required in order to pay for costs like your initial inventory, injection molding, costs that go into tooling, all that kind of stuff, I think that crowdfunding is an incredible tool that's out there. And lastly, if you want to make a bang, if you want to make headlines, you want to get people talking worldwide about your brand, about you, about your product, there's nothing else like this out there because you're getting a ton of funding, ton of people checking this out in a very short span of time. So for those of you that are interested in discovering more about that last point, which I mentioned is like getting headlines, getting media hits, creating a media firestorm, I've actually put together a free course, which you can check out, that goes in depth into not only how to rack up these media hits, but also how to leverage PR for your advantage when it comes to credibility, when it comes to traffic. Another technique I call trading up the value chain. There's so many different tricks in this tool bag that I'm going to be sharing with you in my free course on PR. And if you want to check that out, just go to crowdcrux.com/PR. That link is crowdcrux.com/PR, crowdcrux.com/PR. Think about this as your secret weapon in your massive war chest, which you're building every single week, showing up, listening to these episodes of techniques that work to get funding. All right, guys, let's dive into this podcast episode and discover how this team was able to do a six-figure Kickstarter campaign, and it's coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today we're speaking with a team that's been able to do a six-figure campaign on Kickstarter, raise over $139,000 from more than 1,300 backers for Footrester, a 3-in-1 under-the-desk foot relief product. And we are lucky enough to have two members of the team here today on the podcast, Nazar and Danilo. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
Definitely. Maybe we can get started, and you can tell the audience just a tiny bit about your product and a little bit about you as well.
Yeah, so we are entrepreneurs from Ukraine. We have started our brand Vilno 3 years ago. We had several successful products which are being sold there, and we thought about scaling. And when we started to explore different platforms to scale, Kickstarter was one of the most attractive one. Because you can test demand just straight away, even having just one prototype. That's why we decided to go on Kickstarter. We went to the factory in Germany and went there with our drawings, just on paper, and said if they can produce something like that, the food raster actually. They made the first prototype, and we made pictures of that and launched our Kickstarter campaign.
And can you tell the audience as well just a tiny bit about the product?
Yeah, so basically the food raster is a revolutionary under-desk food rest station that combines 3-in-1, a massager, food raster, and food stool. So basically you can stretch your legs under your desk while working in front of the computer, or for example, you can just watch a TV and put your legs on the food stool, and you don't need 3 different products. You just can have one. So basically with this idea, we just wanted to have more space in our homes for us to live there, but not to have everything messy and bulky. So that's why we decided to create this type of product.
Very cool. Very cool. What were you doing before you guys founded and started this company?
So basically, before we were too young to do anything. We were just studying in the school, and we started a company at 19, I think, when I was 19 and he was 20, because yes, we have only 1 year difference as we are brothers. So yeah. And we decided, because there was a huge hype around dropshipping and etc. And we were studying this thing, and we decided let's try. And at that time, COVID started, and we had a lot of orders just because there's the hype to shop online. And thanks to God, we jumped into this business and then decided to create a brand that produce and we focus on wellness products that can help you feel better and be in good health in your office.
And what made you decide to shift from drop shipping to creating your own brand?
I think you should always provide the best value, and you should always care about your customer. And we just tried dropshipping for a few months, and we saw that people are angry because of long shipping, and sometimes they just receive the crap products that aren't branded, and you don't want to take your phone from the pocket and share it to the Instagram, because it's not pretty product. It's just shipped from the China, and it's really not great. So we just focused on branding and creating private label business on Amazon and on Shopify, but mainly on Shopify.
Would you say that you are an entrepreneur? Would you say you're an inventor? How would you kind of identify yourself?
I suppose that the word which describes us better is the entrepreneur, because we saw a demand in the food rest field, and also we combined several different things inside one product just to cover that demand. And that is the point. And I suppose inventors are people who invent something totally new using advanced technologies and so on. But we just made a piece of furniture that is, I suppose, more a design plus entrepreneurial.
And coming out of Ukraine, I mean, obviously there's a very difficult situation that's happening there right now. What is that experience like? Are there many people like you that are doing crowdfunding? Are there many other people that are creating new products, or are you kind of an outlier?
Yeah, actually, Ukrainians are pretty successful on Kickstarter, and for example, there are a lot of campaigns that did even over 1 million in crowdfunding. For example, Enjoy the Wood or Carsify, and they are our friends and we know them. And we even did some consultations with them, and we are grateful for owners that they gave us some suggestions how to do it.
So you would say that it almost doesn't matter where you are in the world. It's more about the brand you're creating, the problem you're solving, and really being dedicated to that, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I want to add that we are entrepreneurs and we just saw opportunity on Amazon that a lot of people are searching for a food roster, and we decided that maybe we should launch the same thing on Amazon but improve it slightly. And then Danilo came up with this idea, maybe we can try crowdfunding, because actually in Ukraine, it's pretty popular to write about successful crowdfunding projects from Ukrainians. And it is on the news and etc. Because Ukrainians usually are very proud of Ukrainians. And from our teens age, we were dreaming to start Kickstarter campaign, and we always dreamed to be there and to be in this community. And yes, so we just saw this opportunity, and I think it's nothing to scare about this, because in my mind it was like something very big and very heavy to do. But actually, when you know how, it's not that hard.
When you're thinking about that, why not just come out with another product on Amazon? Why were you really drawn to the Kickstarter platform?
Yeah, the point with the Kickstarter is that you can check the demand even before investing into the bulk of products, and that is the point. Because otherwise, you have to invest to have a big stock of the products to test on Amazon, and if they are not being sold, that means that you are losing money. And with the Kickstarter, you have just to make a good prototype of the product. You have to validate if that works really, first of all, with yourself. And then you can make photos, pictures. You have to make good marketing preparations. And only the one structure of your cost is the marketing cost. And that is very attractive for us.
Got it.
Yeah, and basically, when you invent something or when you think about business, it's always about ups and downs. And for example, just I think 6 months before Kickstarter campaign, we decided to launch a product on Amazon, and we invested like 10K in stock. And now we are just have to sell it somehow with no profit, because maybe we did wrong calculations or anything. And I found personally that Kickstarter is much safer thing to do at the beginning. And it makes
a lot of sense. So you're really being more aware of like getting feedback and assessing demand and those kinds of things before you kind of really invest in getting that inventory, right?
Yeah.
So, this being your first campaign, and you guys already had, sold products before, but this is your first Kickstarter from what I understand. What was kind of going through your head or your mind the day before you went live? What were you feeling? What was kind of going through your mind?
Yeah, I had a question about the funding goal. How can we achieve 5,000 just in one day? But Jalop agency with whom we worked, they said, just rest assured, it is on us. You have just to invest in marketing. And even in the first day, we saw the kind of ROAS of 5+ or even 6+, and it was amazing. And I did not expect that.
And ROAS, for those that don't know, that's return on ad spend, right? So if someone's spending $1, they're getting $5 in revenue.
Yeah, in my mind, I was just not sure how much we can do. And I was thinking like 10K will be also okay, but I want more. And you always want more. And it was like this scary moment, but at the same time, you are so excited and you just want to share your work with other people, and you hope that they're gonna like them. But for now, I think like, we have more than 1,000 backers, and now we have so much more to do and fulfill all orders and make really good quality product to them to love it.
One of the other things I was looking through your campaign, I mean, you guys have some phenomenal reviews, right? People who have said great things, and you have some really cool, you building this technology, right? You building this product and like it coming together. How do you feel like the person who backs a Kickstarter is different from an Amazon buyer?
Yeah, there is a big difference because backers on Kickstarter, they are very passionate about supporting small business and also getting something very interesting and completely unique with a discount. And that is what makes different them from Amazon buyers. As Amazon buyers, they want to buy something quickly with a cheap price, but as fast as possible. And then backers, on the other hand, they are ready to wait just for you to deliver that thing which you promised to deliver. And that is a very, very passionate community. What is also interesting, we send our backers the surveys about the product, how can it be improved, or what should we change right now, straight away. And we have more than, I suppose, 150 replies. So more than 10% of people are about helping you and answering the questions which can help you to improve. And that is very valuable feedback for us.
Yeah, so they're basically helping you create the product and they're invested in the story, right? When it comes to that. And I think maybe that plays as well into the community, right? Maybe you could talk just a tiny bit about the community and what your thought is when it comes to building a community around your brand.
Yeah, actually, one of our goals on the Kickstarter was like to build a community around our main brand and our core business. Yeah, we are not feeling this yet, but we already had few purchases from Kickstarter people because we placed a special code on the end of our campaign to purchase our product with this 15% off, I think. And yeah, but what I can see is that when backer purchase something on your website, so not on Kickstarter, they still may send you some emails that this product is amazing, but I think that you can improve this, and this. And yeah, I really like to communicate with backers because you really feel that they care. It's not just like a robot. It's like humans, and they can be helpful for you and for your brand.
In having that kind of a community, do you think it's important that you share like the product coming together more so? Is that kind of how you build that trust with them, would you say? Or how do you build the trust with someone who's never met you before?
I think only by delivering great product and by making them to love your brand with something special inside. For example, one more code for our website, or just some piece of art with good words on it. And it's really helpful for the customer who didn't expect to receive this type of thing inside the packaging. And yeah, it's really valuable for them.
Also about branding, there are brands which we love. And when it comes to such tangible brands, that is Apple. And when you receive or buy products in Apple Store, first of what you get is amazing minimalistic packaging, which a lot of people even do not want to throw out. And for us with Nazar, the point is to fake it until you make it. So we are trying to be similar to such brands which we like by ourselves. So that is the point. By the boxes for all our products are quite similar to Apple's products. And the approach which we are trying to do is quite similar to theirs as well.
If you're worried about the fulfillment and shipping part of your Kickstarter campaign when it comes to getting out all those perks and rewards to your backers, rest assured I've put together a complete Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping checklist for you, and it's free. This is sponsored by the folks at Fulfillrite, and they thought that you should have this checklist as part of your arsenal going into a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to get instant access to this checklist and it's free, you can go to fulfillrite.com/checklist. Again, that is fulfillrite.com/checklist, fulfillrite.com/checklist. Just go to that link and you can download it immediately. At the end of the day, when you come and you see a campaign like this, I mean, you guys have gotten to that six-figure territory. You have more than 1,000 people that are supporting this. What's been like the most rewarding piece of the puzzle or the process for you? What have you enjoyed the most up until this point?
Yeah, I know that you can say something like about backers community and etc. But I will be honest here, and I just love to refresh page and see how numbers going up. It's like a timer, but when you didn't refresh the page in one day, 24 hours, and numbers grow in 10K, and it's a really pleasure to see it, how people supporting you.
That must be such a cool feeling, right? And knowing that these people are also coming from literally around the world, right?
Yeah, mainly from the USA, but yes, we have some orders from Europe and Australia, UK. It's really pleasant to see that you receive support from people really from the countries you've never been.
As an entrepreneur, as you say, what does this mean for you at the end of the day? Like looking at the success, seeing people back it, like what does it mean for you, your brand, the future? What does it mean for you?
For us, I suppose it would be very interesting to help other people, maybe our peers or friends, when they also want to launch something as we have done before. So just to consult them or help them a little bit or guide them a little bit. And I suppose that it will be very rewarding when you help other people.
Got it. So you're kind of passing on the baton a tiny bit there. Are you thinking of growing this into a bigger brand or coming out with new products in the future? Or what are your plans in the future here?
Yeah, actually, we love the Kickstarter community and to be in this community. So we are thinking already about another products that we can launch on Kickstarter. And but we would love to deliver all our food testers right now and receive feedback from our backers, and we're gonna ask them what we can improve, and like maybe they didn't like quality of boxes, or I don't know, packaging must be better, or screws should be much higher quality, and then we're gonna launch something.
Thinking about the brand and kind of what's gotten you to this point in time. So you mentioned marketing being one key pillar, right? Like being willing to just invest in marketing and getting it out there. Do you feel like there are any other tactics or tips that really contributed to that success, or any channels you would recommend focusing on?
Before launching our Kickstarter, we have watched almost every YouTube video on how to do that. Also, we bought several courses on Udemy about launching Kickstarters. And it was very helpful because we saw actually the structured approach. And the structured approach says us that return on ad spend that you can receive is in general from 4 to 6. And that is like a fundament. Without proper marketing, it would be very hard to achieve good results. Of course, there are exceptions. I call them snowballing projects when a lot of media are talking about you. But for us, it's more about the structured approach. And if you want to achieve, for example, 50K in fundraising, you have to invest around 10K in marketing.
Yeah, I think that you don't need to hope for some magic to happen. And like if you received project below, it's great, but it doesn't help that much as marketing and proper preparation before, like good pictures, great video, great product itself, because you can invest like 10,000 in a great video, but this product isn't that good as you think, and you just need to validate if it's really something that backers need.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. In listening to you talk, I mean, I think there are a couple of major points that go beyond just like, strategy and tactics, which is mindset. And you mentioned education, being willing to learn, being willing to study and like improve yourself, courses, etc. Another one you mentioned is this idea of like ethics and really having a brand that delivers something incredible. What do you think about discipline? Because I feel like to really get to where you are now, you've had to go through tremendous obstacles and really persist. What are your thoughts on the role that discipline plays in getting something out there?
Yeah, when it comes to discipline, the major point is to make the strict timeline. For example, to produce a prototype as for such a product which is from wood and is tangible, I suppose 1 month is enough. Then you have to make a photo shoot and video shoot. 2 months is more than enough for such stuff. I mean, video editing, photo editing, sending the prototype to Photoshop agency and so on. Then you have to spend, I suppose, 1 month or 1 month and a half for creating copywriting and just to prepare your Kickstarter account and so on. And when you have such strict timeline, it's much easier than when you are doing that just when you have the inspiration.
So being disciplined to you means sticking to a timeline, right? And
Yes.
showing up and making sure you're hitting those milestones and overcoming procrastination.
Yeah, I think this is very important. And yeah, it doesn't mean that you should wake up and run into your computer to work immediately. Like, you can procrastinate, it's okay, because like we are humans. But when it comes to business, it's always good to have strict rules for yourself. Like, I should do this and then go do something else. And in Ukrainian, we have such wording that you should eat frog first, and like it means that you should do firstly something that you do not like to do, like some job that is a little bit harder than other, and then your day will be greater.
You should eat frog first. I love that. That's a good saying. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know that was the saying there. That's pretty cool. So basically, do the hard work first, right? Focus on that
Yes,
first.
yes.
One other thing I've been kind of curious about, and this is kind of circling back to what you mentioned, which is you being an entrepreneur. What, when thinking about being an entrepreneur, that's like a big word, for you, is it about freedom? Is it about being your own boss? Is it about ownership? Like, are you just trying to prove this to yourself? What does really does that mean to you when it comes to being an entrepreneur? Why is that something you value?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we always read this type of books, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and etc. about entrepreneurship, and I was always dreaming to be nothing else but entrepreneur. So I never worked on someone. I always worked on myself. And so I can't really answer how is it to work on someone else, but I believe that to be entrepreneur and feel this freedom is really cool thing. And it's hard, but because you do not know what will be next. Is it your up or is it your down? Like, you didn't know. But it's always good to know that you can achieve something and you are really responsible for the changes you can do in your business, in your life, in everything.
So taking control and taking responsibility and taking ownership of your future, you would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. You guys are getting me inspired over here. I'm very excited about this. And I want to make sure the community also can go and check out your product as well. Where can they go to learn more about your campaign? What link should they go to discover more information?
I think they can find us on Kickstarter. Our project calls Footraster. And they can also visit our website called vilna.co. And yeah, in Ukrainian, actually, Vilna means free. And like in our meaning, it's like you will be free from anything that is in your pain, or you're just gonna feel good.
Especially with work, which I feel like nowadays that's taking over our lives, right? Just you're working all the time. And why not have a solution that allows you to enjoy your work and not have so much pain, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this, just to kind of clarify, will allow you to relax your feet. It will allow you to relax while you're working and kind of give it a bit of a break, right, throughout the workday.
Yeah, and also what is important is our product prevents you from slouching, because like you put your feet on it and you like align automatically because you can't move down on the chair. So it's really cool feature because it's really helpful when you have lumbar back pain and or neck pain as well. It's really good product for back health.
Awesome. So I'll be sure to link that up in the show notes. I just have one or two more questions for you. So for someone who is considering launching a project, if you were to be able to travel back in time and talk to yourself, and I know you got some other consultations and stuff, is there any bit of parting wisdom you would share with that person or yourself if you were to go back to the beginning part of this process? Anything you would do differently or any kind of wisdom you would share?
Yeah, I think from my side is about sticking to the numbers and don't think and overthink everything. You just need to think like, I need to make a good video, but to the statistic, till the end of the video, watching like only 5% of people. So it's not that important to invest that much time and that much money into the video if you don't have them. And like if you are just starting in the business, you just need to focus on things that are really important. And that's all.
Yeah, from my side, I would suggest working with the best people possible while you are preparing your campaign. For example, when it comes to any activity, like designing a prototype on a factory, you have to choose that factory which will not say you, sorry, we are closed now or we are on the weekend, but with that people who are very open. Also, the same is when it comes to video editing. We worked with a nice guy from Ukraine and his agency who made us such nice animation, because there is a saying, show the fire at the very beginning when it comes to films or videos. And he suggested us to make such fire. So working with the professionals is very beneficial.
Yeah, and that video is so cool. You know, just looking at it, I'll make sure to link it up. You got some really cool effects going throughout that video. Awesome, guys. So my final question for you, and we can end on this note, is you could either end with a quote that you like, you could end with a book recommendation, you could end with a bit of encouragement for other people in the audience that are working on their ideas, or a final tip about crowdfunding. Anything like that, and we can end on that note.
Yeah, I think from my side, it will be that you shouldn't be scary to try yourself on Kickstarter, and you should just do it without any hesitate, because it's not that complicated as it may seem. And yeah, I wish you luck to do it.
Yeah, from my point, I would suggest hiring an agency that will make you and give you some consultations on how to launch and what is the best way. Because there are different pits which you can go down when you're doing that. And one of the pit is niche within a niche. Because backers in Kickstarter, they are already special people, special audience. And if you are launching something for babies, I suppose that it will not be very successful. So my final saying is working or at least consulting with the agency before launching.
Well said. Well said. Thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it and sharing all these great advice and tips, and also some mindset hacks, advice. All that means a lot, and look forward to your next campaign.
Yeah, thanks, Salvador.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified Podcast. Again, my name is Salvador Brigman, and if you want to ethically dominate the world with an epic brand, if you believe in a higher purpose of morality, of doing good in the world, and having integrity, having ethics, bringing great products and brands into the world, I think that crowdfunding is an incredible solution when it comes to that. And I do hope that by watching and listening to this episode, you've also taken away some tricks of the trade, some education, some things you can apply to your actual campaign. And at the end of the day, I think the question is, what kind of world do you want to live in, right? I think that so many of us in the community, whether you're an inventor or an entrepreneur or an artist, we have this incredible, powerful skill set, which is that if we apply it, we can actually cure the world of pain. the pain point that our product solves, right? There's so many headaches, so many unnecessary little bits and pieces of pain that are just scattered around the world. And likely, if you are thinking about doing your own product, your own campaign, or even a game of some sort, you are delivering something that hits the nail on the head when it comes to that pain point. So if you really do believe that you have created something like that, you need to be your own champion, right? You got to have the discipline to show up every single week, to have that commitment, to take control of the process, to take responsibility, to invest in your education, right? And to really prime yourself so that you have access to the best people in the industry. So that you're listening to this podcast on a regular basis and you're hearing from real world success stories. You're learning, you're growing, right? You're attacking those limiting beliefs that maybe are holding you back. And for a lot of the people in my community, sometimes that's just knowing the road ahead, knowing the roadmap, right? Having a trail, having a guide that can help you get from point A to point B in the fastest manner possible and with the least pitfalls that are in that actual path. If that sounds like you and you want to discuss in an intensive coaching session, not only is crowdfunding a good fit for you, the strategy and techniques that go into smashing through your campaign goal, discussing more when it comes to your specific unique case, your resources, the type of campaign that you're thinking of running, whether that's on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, equity crowdfunding platform, GoFundMe, whatever it is, you got to book an intensive coaching call with me. This is something that I've decided to make available to you, members of my community, and I made this commitment from day one back in 2012 when I got started in the industry because I want to make a positive impact as well. And I do that through having a ripple effect with my students and helping them reach their full potential. So if you really want to not only have an incredible foundation for launching your campaign, you want to do this right. You don't want to cut corners. You want to have the best of the best on your team, on your side, helping you every step of the way. You can book an intensive coaching call with me and we can go through the entire inner workings of your campaign. Tell me a little bit about you. Tell me more about what you're trying to achieve and what you've been doing up until this point in time. And we can get that call scheduled ASAP. Just go to the link at crowdcrux.com/coaching. That link is crowdcrux.com/coaching. Again, that link is crowdcrux.com/coaching. The last thing I will leave you with is that if you do nothing else, you don't have to do anything aside from what I'm about to mention. Number one, take a little bit of action. Use this podcast as a reason to take action every single week. Just take a bite-sized piece of action, stack those wins on top of themselves, and before you know it, you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You got that momentum, and you are making steps towards doing something that you love. Thank you so much for listening. Leave a positive rating and review. If you did enjoy my podcast, I appreciate you so much, man. If you are listening to this on YouTube, I do have a YouTube channel as well. Give me a thumbs up. If you're listening to this on my website, crowdcrux.com, hit that subscribe button, join my newsletter, whatever it is. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.